Hi to everyone. Let's wait for a couple more minutes to see if there is more people joining, and then we'll start with the webinar, okay? Okay, so let's start all over. First of all, thank you very much for attending to today's webinar. Just to remind you that the webinar is going to be recorded so we can share with you, with all the people that is attending and also the one that subscribe it. We will be sending a copy of the webinar, the presentation, and also the video. Okay. My name is Alvaro Mocholi. I'm responsible for international sales from Grecom Technologies. And I'm going to be the person that is going to present to you all the different solutions that we have for critical infrastructures. Okay. So first of all, I would like to do a very brief introduction of our company, Grecom Technologies. We are a company that is specialized in developing real-time analytics, and then we are very specialized on thermal imaging. That is our biggest expertise area. Okay, although we also have some different analytics for optical spectrum cameras, but I mean our biggest expertise on the thermal imaging area. Currently, we have over 30 different analytics developed, and then we export to 64 countries worldwide right now. And one of the positive things or the most competitive advantages is that we are a company that has a full chain of value. That means that we have our own R&D department, which is responsible for developing all the different solutions that we sell. Also, we have an integration department, which is responsible for integrating all our solutions with existing VMSs, cameras, NVRs, digital input and output models, and so on. And also, we have our pre-sales and after-sales department, which is responsible for also for setting up, fine-tuning, and adjusting or repairing any potential or any problems that might show up with the analytics. So this will be the here the 9 different analytics lines that we have. So we have solutions for perimeter surveillance, safety, marine surveillance, traffic, fire prevention and detection, healthcare, automation, face recognition, forensic, and also we have we just has recently incorporated cybersecurity. So out of all the, I mean, what is a critical infrastructures? I mean, I'm sure you guys know, but just to remind you, because all the transport-related facilities, this means airports, ports, train stations, bus stations, everything that has to be related to transport, food manufacturing, nuclear plants, power or energy companies, government, water supply, and space infrastructures, finance, R&D, chemical, healthcare, and telecommunications. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to divide the solutions into two lines. First of all will be the security solutions that we have for this type of facilities. And then also what we're going to do is we're going to introduce you some safety solutions that we also have available for this type of facilities. Okay, so let's start with the security. And the first solution that we would like to introduce you is the our VMS platform. Okay, as you guys know, most of the VMSs that are right now available on the market are solutions that what basically do is recording 24 hours, 7 days a week. And then also what they do is they generate a database of all the events that all the different analytics are generating, which are connected or integrated with that VMS. So what we do is we go one step beyond that our VMS also has some artificial intelligence. So that means that whenever we are recording, we are classifying the objects that we're recording. So that means that, for example, if we record a vehicle, we can record that is a vehicle, the color of the vehicle, type of vehicle, license plate number. Whenever it's a person, we can identify the gender, also the color of the clothing, the type of clothing, and then also in case that there is wearing hat or wearing any specific clothing, and also we can record the face. So that really helps whenever you have to do a forensic research. That really helps because we have like a search tool criteria that will help us to identify to find out exactly what we're looking for. This saves a lot of time because when you have this artificial intelligence tool, you have to go through hours and hours of recordings, videos, and trying to find out exactly what you're looking for. Meanwhile, with this artificial intelligence and with the search tool, the most important thing is that you just put on the search tool the criteria that you're looking for, and automatically will search throughout all the cameras that are connected to that VMS, and will come out with a clip of which matches your search criteria. Also, this solution has sound devices, so we also can generate alarms by whenever we feel that the cameras or the system has here a glass breaking, a fire alarm, or is people yelling or fighting. So automatically the system will identify and also can react into it. Also, you can enhance operational awareness. This means that we can do people counting, and also what we can do is we can do people tracking throughout the facilities. We can do heat maps, so we know exactly where the people are moving around or where they're staying, and also we can manage the facility equipment like air conditioning, lighting, cleaning crew, and so on. So whenever we see that there is an area that there is no people around, so what we can do is we can turn off the lights, or we can shut down the air conditioning or the heating, or we can send the cleaning crew just to do their job in case that so it doesn't interfere or doesn't bother the people that is attending. Okay, this solution, will be the architecture, can work with our own cameras or can work with the third-party cameras. Okay, so in case that it goes with our own cameras, the biggest benefit of it is that the cameras have embedded their analytics and also their recording. We can record 30, 60, 90, or 120 days. So you can connect directly the cameras to the network, and you will not need any servers. Just through the cloud, you will be able to access on real time to the cameras, and also you will be able to access to the recording. In case that the facility has already some cameras installed, in that case, we will need to install or deploy what we call it the cloud connector, which is a server where the analytics and also the recording will be done. Okay. In case that you use our own cameras, you can also use the server in case that there is a critical infrastructure and you don't want to use, or you are not allowed to use cloud services. Okay, regardless the architecture that you decide to use, you will be able to access to the cameras in real time and to the videos through any smart tablet, smartphone, tablet, or any workstation which has a connection to the internet. Okay, and then also in case that you want to integrate this solution with an existing, I don't know, access control device or another VMS, we also have our own SDK and API, so you can also connect. Here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put you a video on how the Smart Search tool works.
Welcome to AvaWare. Today we're going to cover search. Search is a tool that allows us to search for specific events that may have occurred across one or multiple cameras. This allows us to search for things like the appearance of a person or a vehicle, a line cross event where a vehicle or person has crossed a specific virtual line that we've drawn, loitering events where a person or a vehicle may have been stationary for too long in one place, indicating something like an idling vehicle that may be outside of a loading dock or outside of an airport, or a person that may just be acting suspiciously in an area that they should not be. We can also alert on sound detection, and this leverages the onboard sound detection in our AVAware cameras that can detect things like glass breaks, loud noises, smoke alarms, and many more audio models that are being added with each release. So, for example, if we were to create a line cross search, what we can do is we can choose what kind of objects we want to search for. We can stick with any or go down to a specific person. This person can be specified based on gender or based on the attire that they're wearing in the top or the lower quadrant of their body, and you can combine both colors as well, looking for people in uniforms or based on a description that was given by a third party. We can also leverage an image. If someone has captured a cell phone image of this person or vehicle, we can upload that in order to do a search based on these detections. Then we can choose where we want to do this detection. So this detection can take place, for example, on a camera in a parking lot. It could also happen inside of a building. So if we were looking for people that may have been in front of a register, we can choose one or multiple cameras and then choose the line that we want these objects to be crossing in order to qualify for the detection. We can choose the direction of travel of this object. And in the case of something like a convenience store, if we're just looking for anyone that is walking out, as this person just did in this example, we can unclick the entering direction so that we're only looking for the direction of travel out the door. And then we can choose the time period that we're searching for. This can be anywhere from specific minutes down to a block of time that may be days or hours. And in our case, when we're just looking for the last 30 minutes worth of search, we're presented with all of the events that correspond to our search criteria. So in our case, we're looking for people that are exiting. And if I highlight over that video, we're going to see the people that are exiting. I can click into this video to see it in greater detail. This will allow me to see not only the event that occurred, but the object within our floor plan as that user exits this building. I can then click to act on that activity. But we can also see in our parking lot as a person was crossing that virtual line that we created. So this allows us to very quickly get to the events that matter to us and then act on them. These different video clips that we have captured here can then be exported. So we can take the relevant information by clicking the plus, and we can choose to share or save. So we can export this as an MP4. We can share this as a publicly accessible link. We can bookmark it so that these video clips do not get deleted by typical retention. And of course, we can also do similarity searches if we want to look for people that are similar to the objects that have been detected in these environments. Now, you're also presented with the ability to create a rule. We have a whole nother section dedicated to creating rules based off of searches as well as other parameters. I implore you to check that out.
Okay, the next solution that we're going to be talking about is the face recognition. This is a solution that we can guarantee 99.87% of accuracy with wild faces, and then with face mask, we can guarantee 98.8% of accuracy. Right. This is a solution that this has been certified by the NIST, and then on that test there were about 340 different algorithms. Okay, and then the solution came out to be the fastest one on the detection, and then also the one that less processing requirements from server point of view are needed. Okay, So this is, becomes one of the most, I will say, will be on the top 10 solutions out of all those 340 algorithms that were analyzed. So what can we do for the critical infrastructures? From the monitoring point of view, we can do mass detection, social distancing, audience management. So that means that how people are moving inside the premise, congestion prediction. So whenever you see that the lines are getting too long, and then so we can do queue management, counting people, so we can know exactly how much people can come in, depending on the occupancy level that is permitted on the on-premise. Direction analysis, so we know if the people is coming in, coming out. Contactless, okay, so you don't need to use any badges, just with the face recognition you can grant access. And then multi-factor authentication. As you know, in some, for example, in hospitals and in some of the industries where you need to wear some safety equipment or PWE equipment, sometimes it's quite difficult to identify the person. So what we also have is kind of like a QR code that whenever the camera can scan it, we automatically can identify that person. From the facial recognition, we can have access control, VIP recognition, subscription, and activation of new customers. So this means that once you get registered, the front desk on any company, the second time that you come, you just don't need to register again, just with always as long as you have the visit schedule. You don't need to have to go through the process of registering all over again. Okay, and then also you have the recognition of suspects, or in case that there is any person that is not welcome on premise or in the past has generated some problems. What we can do is we can identify before they come into the facility. And then we have also the liveness and anti-spoofing notification, which I will show you a video later on. And then from the demographic or from the analytics, we can do demographic analysis. So we can identify by gender, by age. Also, we can have like heat maps, queuing time, dwell time, which is quite important for depending on the business. So to know how much time the people spend inside the premise. Occupation panel, this is a dashboard which will show us exactly how many people is in, how many more people is allowed to come in, on demographic analysis of all the people that is inside premise and so on. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a video on how this solution works. So here, as you will see, whenever the system detects that is a real face, we will identify, and then secondly, we'll put a green heart on top of it. So that means that that is a real face. Whenever you try to supplant with a picture, you will be identified, but it will recognize that there is not a real face. So automatically will not grant you access. You can also work with not just with pictures, but also with images on smartphones, videos. And also you can have the double identification. That means that if the identification of the badge does not match with the face, will automatically not grant access. Another one of the solutions that it is becoming very demanding lately, it is the data loss prevention. Okay, this is our solution, which is called Reveal. This is a solution that was winner of the US Cyber Command. Out of the 10 different tasks that we need to perform, we won in 7 of them, including the best overall performance. This is JITC certified. Okay, as you guys know, this is also a requirement for cybersecurity in the US, and then it's compliant with the NITTF. And then it was also the winner of the Cybersecurity Awards last year in 2021. So here, basically what the solution does, it is monitor all the activities on all the workstations that are connected to the network. Okay, we can monitor, these are some of the events that we can monitor, like, I don't know, like actions, that means the activity you have with the keyboard, with the keywords, alarms, like when you access to outside applications, or when you access to browsers that you're not authorized to, connections to another networks, or DNS lockups. Then you have like a file access whenever you are not authorized to access any file. When you try to do it, automatically will detect it. Integrations with some other solutions, locations, logins, printing of restricted material, screenshots. When you try to do a screenshot of any confidential information, or when you try to do download into a USB device, or you try to connect to a non-secure Wi-Fi connection. So these are some of the examples, but basically here what we do is we adapt to the IT policy of the company. And then what we do is monitor all the activity of all those workstations where we have downloaded the software, which is in charge of monitoring the activity. But besides just detecting anomalous activity, also what we do is we can react to it. So what we can do is we can lock the action, isolate the equipment, block the activity, reboot, or display a message, or also we can do is like take a screenshot so we can show to the employee that he's not following the IT policy. So this is very simple performance. We will download a license on each one of the workstations that you want to monitor. And that software will be reporting to a central, let's call it a workstation, where all the different workstations that you're monitoring will be reporting. So you will be able to see on a real time what is the activity of all the workstations. Okay. Um, and as I said, I mean, this is very flexible. We can adapt to the IT policy of the company. It's not just a matter of this different task that we introduce here on this slide. Also, what we do is we have perimeter solutions. Okay, see this is the perimeter lockout. We have solutions for day and night cameras, and also we have solutions for thermal imaging and for PTC cameras. So depending on on the distance that you're trying to detect, and also depending on the scenario, we can recommend one or the other. Okay, the perimeter lockout with artificial intelligence, the biggest competitive advantage is the accuracy. We can guarantee a very high rate of accuracy, barely no false alarms. We can auto-classify the objects like vehicles, or we can classify humans or persons. And then also doesn't generate alarms by animals, vegetation movement, light changes, shadows, or raindrops on the lens. Okay. You have multiple detection profiles like intrusion, line crossing, prowling, and abandoned object. Okay. The key benefit, as I said before, is the accuracy. Maybe the no so positive argument will be the detection range. As you know, in order to be able to have the artificial intelligence work correctly and be able to auto-classify, you need to put a lot of pixels into the image in order to be able to distinguish or to auto-classify. In case that you want to have a very long range detection, what we can do is we can go with the solution which is called Sentinel. This works with thermal imaging, and then the good thing about it is the detection range, which we can go for 450, 500 meters away. The disadvantage is that we cannot use artificial intelligence to work at such a long distances. So the rate of false alarms is a bit higher than with the artificial intelligence solution. On this case, the solutions can work on premise or can work embedded into the camera. As for the PTC cameras, also is available, so we can work meanwhile the camera is moving, and also we can do some detections, and also can work on premise and on embedded. The solution is integrated with all the main VMSs available on the market: Milestone, Genetec, Axis Camera Station, Pelco, Avigilon, Goite Group, Chameleon, Cat6, Latitude, EDIS, and I think there's a couple more that I'm missing right now. Here I'm gonna put you a video. This is on the long range. So you can see, for example, the one is a very shaky camera, and then it still barely doesn't trigger any false alarms. And also on the upper right and on the upper left, this is a very long detection range. We're talking something like around 300 plus meters. Okay, another one of the solutions that it is highly demanded is the marine surveillance. Okay, this is the solution, we call it Coast Guard. Here what we do is we detect small boats, large or small boats, and then also floating objects. As you know, the radars, in most of the cases, they have kind of like a blind area where they don't cover, they don't detect small boats, or they don't detect especially small boats. So our purpose is to detect or to monitor that blind area that the radar is not monitoring. So the good thing about it is that we can monitor on that area, but also what we can do is we can position all the objects that we detect, and we can position into the same map as the radar or in a different one. And then also we can do tracking of that object. Has very large detection range. A minimum target size is 2 pixels. So that means that we can detect, for example, I don't know, like 20 feet boat, something like around 1.5 miles away. And then also has a very low false alarm rate between 2 to 5%. Doesn't generate alarms by the waves. Okay, unless there is a big storm, and then there is the weather conditions are quite extreme. In that case, the top of the waves might generate some false alarms. We can position all the objects with the GPS or UTM coordinates, and then also it's integrated with all the main VMSs available on the market. So here I'm gonna show you just a video. This goes as a minimum target size, so whatever the size you just set up the system for will detect. Depending on the size, I mean, it will detect. Okay, and then we're gonna go into the safety solutions. So here what we do is we have our solution temp threshold. This is a solution that what it does is analyzes temperature thresholds in the field of view of the camera. And then on top of that, what it does is analyzes the behavior. So this is a solution that we implement quite well in biomass plants, dam recycling plants, and then also chemical and oil and gas. The good thing about this is that this is not a solution that just monitors temperature thresholds. Also, as I said before, monitors the behavior. So, for instance, whenever we detect an object that is on the temperature gap that we have set up the system for, automatically will detect it, well, but it will not trigger the alarm unless the behavior follows the criteria that we have set up the system for. For instance, a fire, whenever we catch a fire, is on the temperature threshold or the temperature gap that we have set up the system for, and very rapidly will increase the temperature or the size of the object. Okay, so whenever we see that it is on the temperature threshold, but also follows the behaviors that we have set up the system for, that will be the time when we will trigger the alarm. Okay, this is also available for fixed or PTC cameras. Generates, okay, we can generate reports on XML, Excel, and PDF formats. Also has the heat emission and distance configuration. That means that depending on how far the object is, we correct the temperature in a way that we can overcome the temperature dissipates with the space. Okay, and then also we can have image adjustments. So based on the temperature thresholds that we want to monitor, we will adjust the image so it will not interfere. All the objects that are not on the temperature thresholds that we want to monitor will not interfere on the detection. Okay. Also, you have intuitive mass design detection, simultaneous temperature and time frame analysis. And then it's integrated with digital input and output models. And then it is compatible with all the main VMSs available on the market. So here I'm going to show you also another video. So what happens, I mean, as you saw, there was a fire. So what the system does, first of all, generates a background and then analyzes all the objects that radiate energy over that background. So once it's on the temperature thresholds that we have set up the system for, automatically will detect it, but unless it follows the behavior that we have set up the system for, will not trigger the alarm. So in this case, we saw that the temperature was increasing very rapidly, and also the size of the object was steady, but increasing also the size. So that is the reason why we decided to trigger, or the system decided to trigger the alarm. Another solution that we have is the flame monitoring. This is a solution to monitor the flames on oil and gas facilities. So besides detecting if the flame is on, the flame is off, also what we do is we analyze the intensity of the flame, and also we detect whenever the stack is venting. So that means it's emitting gas into the atmosphere, but there is no incineration. So also we can do that. All this solution can work embedded into the Axis Q1941, 42, 51, 52, and Q29. Here I'm going to show you a video on how the embedded version works. So this will be the mask the configuration tool. So you just like select the areas and then you just choose the and then once you put the mask, you name the mask. And as you can see right here, okay, you can see that each one of the cameras is like figuring out the status of the flame. If the flame is on, it says the flame is off, is on. Oh, okay, in this case, these four stacks are with the flame on. And in this case, we are monitoring this stack right here. And as you can see, it's venting some gas into the atmosphere, but it's not a flame on it. So we can classify it as a venting. Also, one of the good things about it is that the reporting area is also available on the platform, on the Axis Camera Station platform. So you don't need you don't need a specific server for it. I mean, everything is done embedded. Okay, and the last solution that we're gonna be introducing to you is the transformer monitor. As you know, in all the critical infrastructures, there is always a substation to supply energy in case that there is any electricity failure. So here what we do is we are monitoring all the electrical components on the substations and then detecting when any of the components gets overheated. As you know, when a component gets overheated, that means that on the short term, there's going to be a failure. So we can prevent that major failure uh, when we see that it is overheating. So here what we do is we are monitoring all the components, and then we are registering all the temperature throughout a period of time. So we can see how that component, a specific component, is evolving throughout a period of time. Okay. This can also work with fixed or PTC cameras. And then the biggest competitive advantage of this is that we are constantly recording. So as you can see here, we just like manage like the different detection areas. So we will be recording on boxes. So box number one on the average temperature is 78. So this will be constantly be recording so we can see how box number one is evolving throughout a period of time. Okay, these are some of the success cases that we have performed on the defense and law enforcement authorities. So we have with the FBI, we have set up the VMS and the cybersecurity solution. With the NATO headquarters in Brussels, we have the access control. With the Rota military base, which is a US and a Spanish military base in south of Spain, we do all the perimeter surveillance. And also we do all the perimeter surveillance for all the Navy and Air Force bases of Spain throughout the whole country. On the oil and gas, we work with companies such as Saudi Aramco. We do the flame monitoring for them. With Cepsa, which is the second largest oil company here in Spain, we do all the perimeter surveillance. Also with Repsol, which is the largest oil company here in Spain, we also do on automation and safety solutions. On the critical, we do the Madrid International Airport, we do the perimeter. Valencia Port, which is the largest the largest port on the Mediterranean Sea by container traffic. Trillo, which is a nuclear plant, we also do the perimeter surveillance. Al Wahba, which is the palace of the Emir of Qatar, we do the perimeter surveillance, and then also the Porto Leixões, which is the seaport of Porto. We also do the marine and the perimeter surveillance. And as for telecommunications, companies such as AT&T, Hitachi Vantara, Facebook. And then on the financial, we work with Santander, which is the fifth largest bank, Caixa Bank, and Samba, which is one of the top Saudi banks. So as for distributors, we have global agreements with Anixter and ADI, and also we work with Incomex and Ingram Micro. And then as for Stanley, we have been working with companies such as G4S, Stanley, Prosegur Securitas, AT&T, Hitachi, and so on. Okay, so any questions that you might have? Please, I mean, you can, here you have my contact details, my mobile telephone number, and then also my email address. And then in case that you want to request a demo of any of the solutions that we just introduced to you today, you can access through this web address, and then you can suggest that you can ask for a demo. And then right now you can either activate your chat or your microphone, and any questions that you might have, please feel free to ask. Also, it's very important for you to know that the price of the license includes setup, fine tuning. So this is kind of like a turnkey solution. So that means that, I mean, until the solution is not working as the customer is expecting, we will not stop working on it. Okay, we have two types of licenses. We have the perpetual license. That means that you buy the license and you own the license. And then also you have the model of subscription. So in case that there is I mean, you want to pay on a monthly basis or you want to pay on an annual basis, you can select the model of subscription that you prefer. Okay, Alexis is asking if it's a camera and server combo always necessary, or do you have embedded solutions? Depending on the solutions, we also have embedded. So for example, on the perimeter surveillance, we have embedded. On the access control or face recognition is also available embedded. As for the flame monitoring is also available embedded, and then also the transformer monitor and the temp threshold also will be is available embedded into cameras. So depending on the solution that you choose, can run embedded or on premise. How do you compare to Vergara's BriefCam, Eagle Eye, and so on? Okay. I mean, as you know, the first company that started with the artificial intelligence was BriefCam. I would say that the BriefCam, the biggest, let's call it disadvantage or challenge that they have is that they are very unflexible. They are, I mean, of course, pricing is very expensive compared to the rest of the solutions, but BriefCam definitely will be the top line of the solutions. I mean, from our side, I mean, it is more flexible. It can work on the cloud, it can work on premise, and then also the number of cameras. I mean, you have servers for 16, 50, 75, 100, and 200 channels. And the pricing also is it is a big competitive advantage. So it will be something like around 30% of what you will pay for BriefCam or Vergara. And then as from the performance point of view, is I will say we are among the top ones, and then also among the on flexibility on how to set up the system. I will say we will be among the most flexible solutions that are available on the market. Also, since the solution can work on through the cloud, you can always have the latest version of the solutions. You are constantly being updated, so you will be constantly be updated without any extra charge on it. What frame rate do you need for reliable detection? Do you mean on the face recognition or on perimeter, Alan? For the perimeter, we can work with 8 frames or we can work with 25 frames. For the face recognition and then as for the artificial intelligence solutions, we will need 25 frames. But as I said, for the perimeter, one of the key advantages is also that we can work with 8 frames, and there our solution is very sensitive, so we can catch even fast-moving objects or yeah, especially fast-moving objects, we can detect it very easily. As you know, thermal imaging sometimes, depending on the country where the camera is deployed, they don't authorize you to use 25 frames, that you just can use 8 frames. So the good thing about it is that our performance, it doesn't interfere that much between 8 and 25 frames. And just due to using a second stream. Okay, we can use, I mean, usually what we do we use the RTSP stream, and then but also we can use the ONBIF. So depending on the architecture of the system, we can use both streams, or we just need to use one stream. Okay, Gustavo is asking company representation in the USA. Right now we are right now we don't have we have like some system integrators in Spain that do all the job for us. Okay, we work very closely with the Hitachi Vantara, and then also we have some for example in Alaska we also have some system integrators that support us on that area. But for the national coverage or all the mainland United States, we usually work with through Hitachi Vantara. Any more questions from anyone here? Okay, in the next couple of days, we will be sending you a copy of the presentation that we used on today's webinar. And also we will send you a video of the webinar. So in case that you want to review and want to go over all the information, you will have a copy of both of them. So any further information, you have my contact details here, so you can reach me. And then once again, thank you very much for attending to today's webinar, and really appreciate your time. I'm looking forward to see you in the near future. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.